Welcome. This is Barry Jones from Angelic Wisdom, and we're here for our Ascension Angel Messages for the week of July 22nd through the 28th, 2024. So, as we begin, I'd like to thank everyone for their support and who is returning to this um, weekly series. And I'd like to also welcome anyone who is new to our Angelic Wisdom community. As we begin, I'd like to just remind you first, if you haven't done so already, to subscribe to my channel, select the all notification bell, like, dislike, of course, and also leave your comments. If you'd like to get an angel reading with me, you can go to my current website, theangelschool.com/services. And if you'd like to support my channel with a donation, that would be enormously appreciated. And you can select my PayPal me link for Angelic Wisdom LLC, which you can find in the description area below this video. Also, if you haven't had an opportunity to see the general monthly angel reading, you can go to the link that I have. It'll be the first one there. And this will allow you an opportunity maybe to come back to it at the end of the month and just see where you are and what's been going on. So let's take a deep breath. And I need to clear my throat for some reason. Let's just take a moment to connect in. And one of the most important things, again, to be aware of the energies that are are very intense, let's put it this way, and it's triggering a lot of emotional as well as physical symptoms. And right now, the height of our ego, collectively and individually, it's really fighting against change. It's fighting against loss, it's fighting against holding itself together, a system that it's been perpetuated. And it almost feels as if we're all coming out, or we're really, as we're waking up, it's like we intensely somehow feel like we're under a spell. The spell of illusion, the spell of fear and power. And maybe even pride. These are some intense spells, if you will. And yesterday, because you can almost feel it in your heart chakra, like it's almost like this emotion, this intense emotion just sits, it's sort of anchoring itself there. And there's so much going on in the world, the systems, the political systems, the war systems, you know, financial systems. There's so much going on. And the oppression of all of that, of all the many systems, and these influences or spells of illusion. And yesterday, I can't remember the rest of it, but all I remember is love is here. The angel Butalil just came through, and when I said it in my heart to myself, I felt this peace just replace that intensity. We have to understand that love is here. Whatever that means to the soul, it might not be something that you can get your head to explain to you the meaning of that. And it might be that very simple explanation that you're thinking, but it did something very profound in just simply replacing that influence with all the rewards and the clarity and the purity and, most importantly, the truth that love is here. Love is at play in all of this. We don't really understand all the facets of love. We have a very sort of narrow understanding of love. We understand that it's supposed to be certain things. Embodying love is a whole nother ballgame. But we understand it to be kindness and intimacy and romantic love and agape love, all these, but we don't understand that love is also a disruptor to these influences of illusion. And that love is also courage. And that is something right now that each and every one of us needs to embody and have faith in the courage of love, and to understand love as the disruptor, and love that dismantles illusion. And so, even though it's scary and it's chaotic, but it is extremely necessary and profound. If you could reframe it, the fear that you are feeling because of the way in which love is disrupting and dismantling, see it as an aspect of freedom, the liberator. Love as the liberator. And all that you are also witnessing is the act of courage that love is also trying to encourage you to do for yourself, to liberate yourself, to disrupt the influences of your own ego, of your own pride, of your own sense of power. And let yourself become the change that you are meant to be for these times, the change that will present the highest potential of your true self, your authentic self. Allow yourself to be the change of love, the liberator that influences and helps liberate others from the illusion. Everything is connected and we are all connected. So as you stand in your truth and face or confront the aspects of you that are illusion, and you confront it with the courage of love that we're talking about here, you set off an activation of change for others. Because why? We're all connected, and our interactions trigger for a reason. So I'll give you an interesting example. On the 22nd, nearly a month ago, I went to my friend's place and she had a party, barbecue, and all these really interesting people, mainly musicians, connected in some way to music if they weren't, working in music. And I was having a conversation with two people about the voice, about singing and technique. And the first was, we were on the same page. And then I met another person and we were kind of on the same page, but it was triggering for me. I could feel it in my body, but I wasn't thinking it. I was thinking that, oh, maybe she's not understanding or agreeing, or she thinks I'm crazy with what I'm saying. But what was so interesting, and this is talking about love as a trigger, that my ankle that I had broken in 2019 at the last performance that I did, that performance and leading up to that performance was also triggering for me. And it brought up a lot of things from when I was in school, all the problems I was having with my voice and the people around it and the things that I had become to believe was the issue. However, everything is about us, not about them. But that ankle, after that conversation at my friend's barbecue, triggered for the first time. And it from that point through the rest of the evening until I got home, it began to be, well, how do I say this? It grew and grew into a debilitating state, just like but it's gradually happened. So I wasn't aware. And as I was getting ready to leave, it was like, oh, I can barely walk down the stairs. And by the time I got to my apartment, I could barely walk. And when I laid on my bed and I tried to get off of it, I could not. And I had to use an object to help me to get to the kitchen to get some water, to take some pain naproxen in order to relieve it. When I went to sleep, I could feel myself sort of feeling feverish, but when I woke up, it was gone. And yesterday, so long story short, what she was talking about was a new avenue. I'm just going to call it C. I was talking to her about A and B sort of pedagogies, and she was introducing something to me that I would call C. And I've been watching on Instagram an Italian teacher who is talking about C, but in a way that I get it. However, yesterday, what happened, and I realized, oh my God, I think the conversation was triggering. And as I was starting to work, what I didn't realize is that she was introducing me to something that was going to be a breakthrough, like a total game changer. And so I'm telling you all of this because what you are witnessing right now is a rebirth of our world. This is literally that the birth pains, the contractions is, and it's crazy. You're trying to, you're working very hard to move through the canal and to improve yourself. And it's like all of these convulsions are happening, and it's making it feel like, we feel very panicked. We feel very hopeless. I mean, I can't imagine, obviously, because I've never been pregnant, but if we could, those of us who have to imagine, gosh, you probably just would feel like you're not gonna make it, right? And that everything is gonna go wrong. And you're worried about the one thing you're worried about more than your own life is that new life. And you don't know what that new life is going to be like. You don't know if it's going to like you. You don't know if you're going to like it. You don't know if you're going to be good at that new life. Everything is going through your mind. All the worst thoughts are going through your mind. But yet, when that new life arrives in that future, near distant future, the love that new life is emanating, the purity, you know that you're gonna be okay. You know that deep down in that moment that you're gonna show up, and you're gonna put all your effort into bringing that life, helping that life to grow into its fullest potential. And I'm speaking about whatever it is that you're giving birth to, whatever change you're giving birth to. And you're not going to really know what that is fully and completely. I mean, you could try to imagine it. But when you imagine the worst, you are so far off. And we're seeing this right now. that people want the best and they're panicking. And we think that panicking and worrying about something and that we somehow have the ability to control all the pieces and fix it and put it into some order. This is an illusion. Because the process, the birth process, is inherently built into the nature of the whole thing. We have to trust our birthing process, the birth of whatever change you are meant to experience and bring through. What you really need to do right now is learn how to float and flow with the process, with the birthing process. And what is the one thing that they give them to do in Lamaze is breathing. And I'm sure a few other things which I'm not aware of, but the main component is breathing. It's finding your center. The whole idea is not to panic and to reframe the pain, the obstacles, the challenges, to reframe it. This is love, the liberator. And it requires you and I now to practice love as courage. And it requires us to practice love as patience and love as faith. What needs to happen is happening. May not be at all what you and I would prefer. And we know we don't prefer it because we're running scared. We're watching everybody run scared. But we really need to allow it to happen. And then we need energetically the writing, but also energetically, you need to tune in to the creator who is birthing you. And ask the creator, what energy of love are you meant to offer, to establish at the birth moment? So that would be some of the care tools or foundations. Ask for what that is, because you're here for a reason. You're here for a reason. Each and every one of us on the planet is here for a reason. Some of us are the disruptors. Some of us are the illusion or organizers. And there are those of us who are called to build in the foundations of love, support, to help these new creations to come forth and bring forth their essence of purity and light, new examples. When I say this, I always and with you in the struggle. But fear not. Fear not. I don't care what side you are on of any of this. Fear not. The common denominator between the polarization of the sides is fear. And we all need to give it up and have faith that what's provoking us on either side to act in our different ways is fear. The fear of uncertainty, the fear of loss of power, the loss of power, the loss of control, the loss of so many things, because we are attached, we're plugged into the matrix that is dissembling. But all are going through the birth canal, and we will all end up being a witness to that new creation. We will all have a rebirth experience, no matter how extreme the sides are. And it will be, fortunately and unfortunately, what it needs to be for each individual. And that, fortunately and unfortunately, is not that, how do you say, it's not in a sense of consequences like punishment and incentive. Any ending and any beginning in truth is still in oneness. That is the illusion that perceives it to be able to start or end in anything else other than oneness, in unconditional love. How it appears to our three-dimensional eyes, well, that is something different. But you and I must learn to see with our fifth dimensional eyes, to see into the heart of everyone. And what is going on in our world, politically and otherwise, is only about a rebirth, a collective rebirth for a new golden age. And what the angels and the universe will do at this time, because this is a collective decision. We all came here for this purpose. When we get into the veil of illusion, we can't remember. Some of us have it in our hearts, and some of us went into another direction. But it's all okay. Ultimately, it's still all okay. And they are all okay at the heart, the core of their being. But when it has been decided and something is going to divert that, they will step in and intervene, because our collective souls have already agreed to the ascension process. So when something is trying to divert that or avert that from happening or interfere with it happening, they will bring through a message that will confirm that path of ascension. It has nothing to do with us as individuals. It has everything to do with the path and which side is leading us to that path. However, all sides are, because again, the the polarization is actively provoking and sometimes evoking the path itself. We think we're divided, but on a deeper and a higher level, we're just teaming, provoking each other to remember. All right, let's take a look at the archangel that we'll be working with for this week. And this is perfect. It's Archangel Lavender, and she works with the soul star chakras. So talking about the soul's purpose here, the collective. And she works with Archangel Mariel, who's in charge of the soul star chakra. The soul star chakra is one of the 3 chakras that are above the crown chakra. It is the 11th chakra, and it's aligned with Orion, which is an ascended star system. And so this is all about forgiveness. And I just get a sense right now to calm our fears is to forgive ourselves for forgetting who we are and who everyone else truly is as well. This will be such a huge assistance to all of us if we can forgive ourselves for seeing that person next to you or around you, the people around you, in a way that was not acknowledging their oneness within the heart of Source. And it reminds us right now that everything that we're going through and that everything that is being brought up in us, is triggering us, is so that we can bring it up to forgive ourselves. Because you and I are the only ones that are holding ourselves in this state of withholding, because we've given in to the illusions that we've created to help us to cope, I guess, with the things that we cannot face, the things that we cannot forgive ourselves for. And if anything personally keeps coming up for you, and you think, damn, I thought I did that already, dig deeper. Dig deeper into your practice, as your spiritual practice. But dig deeper by asking for the new tools of love. And they will present them to you because they're now, love is here. Love is here. There are tools available to us now that we were not ready for before. But many people have been doing that work, and the universe has also been offering access through various portals and cosmic events that has brought back certain energies that have been withdrawn from the planet since the fall of Atlantis. But forgiveness of self in every moment, doesn't matter that you made the mistake. This is not how they do things. You shouldn't, you made a mistake. Now move towards the thing that you want to implement. I want to say the correction. But what is it? A mistake. Now think of love. What can I replace that energy with that is of love? Because love is here. So when you call upon Archangel Lavender, she can surround you with her lavender light. You see it has pinks and lavender, and it's very much connected with the higher heart of Andromeda, this violet pink light, which is 11th dimensional. And you can connect with this by connecting to, from your heart, just send out a ray of light to Andromeda and tune in to the codes and keys of this 11th dimensional ascension energy. And then call in Archangel Lavender. And just make sure that it goes deep into your cells at an atomic level. And just forgive yourself for anything, to let it go. And she will work with your soul star chakra to help with ancestral karma and all kinds of things that that need to be released from your soul at this time. But I feel like getting back to that day-to-day practice of forgiving ourselves for not seeing everyone, whether they're on our TV or they're in our classrooms or our, office. We need to let it go. We need to see. Once we can forgive, then we can understand and see people for who they truly are. All right, let's take a look at the cards. We have the Rider of Trees, and this would be the Knight of Wands. So this gives us a sense of feeling very passionate and eager in this week. Let that energy, so sometimes there's some things we can fix and some things we can't. But when you feel really called by your heart, that's what you really need to pay attention to step in some way, whether it's service work, energetic work for the planet, or there's something going on in your community or at your job where you think that it's time for you to step up and, offer your expertise, to sweep in and do that. It may be outside of your comfort zone, but be ready to participate. It's sort of the sense I get here. This card, the Steward of Stones. So this is the Page of Pentacles. And the way this card came up last week was so interesting. We were talking about the star seeds and, feeling like feeling like you're from somewhere else, like you've always felt like you didn't belong in your communities or your families that you were born into. You just kind of felt like you were an alien from another star system. And it's about, embracing those assets about you that are so different because they set you apart. They set you apart like a light that sets itself apart from the darkness. And it's encouraging you to embrace that light and to stop running into the darkness. Because there you will find the seed of your prosperity and your success. And this is possibly the aspect of you that is being given birth to, and the aspect of you that is being challenged so much within you. You might feel like this part of you is always a target. Well, it's really you, your own projection of illusion, pointing out, criticizing the aspect that your assets, when, if you reframe it, is pointing to what your purpose is, and that you should eagerly get in the race and follow your heart. And here we have the Five of Clouds, and we see that sort of dismantling right here. And it's a very intimidating sort of scene to come after those two cards. But this speaks to me around that aspect that's sort of targeting you, that you feel intimidated or bullied by your own fears. And the clouds seemingly are low to the ground. And so it's creating a lot of distortion, a lot of that interference we were talking about. But what is it, reframing it, what is it really trying to do? It's giving you nowhere else to go, sort of the wagon circling around, and really, forcing you into liberating yourself, right? When you get tired of being oppressed by this thing that you're just so damn afraid of, the only way out becomes liberation. And so hang in there with yourself until you figure this thing out. But you are stronger than you believe. And with the clouds, it's just reiterating that it's all in your head. That what's stopping you is not at the physical level, it's at the mental level. And you got to be comfortable, become comfortable with your assets, your priceless and rare, unique assets. All right, let's take a look at the card I've already pulled from the bottom of the deck, which is the Ace of Stones. And look how beautiful that is. and the path and these cows that are on the path. Now, it it looks like, um, it doesn't look like there's many paths here. The road goes here, but I'm sure it can turn this way and it's going this way. Those cows are there, and you see those mountain ranges in front, and you see more paths. So it's this sort of thing, like when you're at this stage, you things kind of seem slim, but at the same time you see the whole world in front of you, and you see all the potential paths and opportunities that might open up for you. Don't let that initial moment frighten you, or don't allow the future moments to frighten you. Just understand that the world is available to you, many paths and many heights, as many as you need to help bring out of you what is pure, beautiful, and authentic. And it's all of those aspects of yourself that you've built up, those images that are illusions about your inadequacy, your failings, your shortcomings, at this, that. There's so many of them. But now, this moment that we're in is opening up for you new possibilities. And I feel that this rebirthing, and what this card is really pointing to, is this rebirth, this change that is coming. It's going to come in the material world, in the way that you feel, how you see yourself. This rebirth, this change is going to be it's going to be an internal change, which is interesting because the cards were laid down from right to left this time. So it's going to be an internal change that's going to change the way you feel about being here and what you're capable of doing and manifesting. So this psychological, mental, emotional upheaval that you're experiencing is going to allow you to shift into a sort of divine creator mindset, where you see this world and you see success for yourself. You can dream the possibilities into being, because the limitations that were there before will no longer hold you back. And so this forgiveness process, and the way that I described it, is going to be so key to soothing you, the rumblings, so to speak. All right, so I send you lots of love and angel blessings, and have a most powerful week. God bless you.